What's going on, guys? ¿Cómo están? BugaLuis here. Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and I'm back in Peru. I got my face in a video finally, and I'm just gonna be trying to see what can I do to improve the background. I don't think it's the best. I'm gonna be seeing if I can put some kind of like green screen or something like that, and if you have any suggestions down below, be sure to leave them. Let me know. Today what we are going to be doing though is we're going to be ranking all of the Barcelona players from either just horrific seasons to being almost like Messi. We're going to be seeing who were the most influential players for us throughout this 2018-2019 campaign, and then you can make your own judgments in who we should keep, who we should sell. I already made a video like that before a long time ago, very similarly to what we're gonna do today. So hopefully you enjoy this one, and be sure to drop us a like, leave us a subscribe, turn the bell, and put on everything you already know. You know the deal. Let's get right into it. And one more thing before starting off this video, be sure to check out our friends at Golazo Jersey. Links are also going to be in the description down below. They are a very good place to get cheap, reliable, quality footballing kits, so go there and get yours. So as you can see, I've created this kind of like overlay just for us to have, well, this very nice video. So the very first player that we got ranked is no other than Lionel Messi. So where is Messi? Can I find him? Here is Messi. So Messi goes in his own ranking, you know, it goes in its own category. Messi is the best player in the world, and he had the best season of anybody else in Europe, in the world. So needless to say, he had the best season of Barcelona players. The next player that we're going to rank is going to be Arthur. Arthur is somewhat a very interesting player because he started off very strong, like very strong. You could say that he was probably one of the best signings 6 months into this season. However, after that, his fitness, stamina, or athleticism, something like that really decreased, and he started only featuring 6 minutes in crucial games. He started getting a lot of injuries, and he got 60 minutes, and then Valverde took him out. So that is something, and that's a reason that I cannot just put him into an almost kind of somewhat like Messi. I think he needs to be in not Messi for now. Not Messi is kind of like there, you know, decent in the middle. It's still very good his season, but he just didn't manage to make, I believe, a big impact in the last, 4 months of our season. That's the sole reason why he's not higher up in this list, basically. The next player is Kevin Prince Boateng, and what can I say with Boateng? Did he help us? No, he played like 3 games in the entirety of his tenure here at Barcelona, so I'm gonna be putting him in have you seen this man? Where is Boateng? I absolutely do not know. Next up, we got Sergio Busquets, and today I read a very interesting stat that says that Busquets had the most passes in the Champions League this season, which is of course very surprising. Needless to say, we had very good games in the Champions League, although we only lost 1. And well, Busquets for me is a meh. I think that Busquets defensively this season, he was horrific. He's one of the main reasons why Barcelona is struggling so much in the high press, in my opinion, is that Busquets, we have always relied on him on actually even at least making some runs, tracking by, covering up that space, and now he simply cannot do that. Passing wise, up here mentally, he has the know-how on basically how to be the best CDM, but his legs cannot help him do the work that he did 4 years ago. So if we want Busquets to keep doing that, we're gonna need more people that have more legs, youngsters, because Rakitic is very similar to that. So the signing of the young could see Busquets probably get 1 or 2 more years in this side, but for this season where we didn't have the young, Busquets is gonna get just a meh. The next player is gonna be Jasper Cillessen, and for me he's almost kinda somewhat like Messi. For me, Cillessen had an outstanding season. He's always been a very good top tier goalkeeper, and it's quite surprising for me at this moment that he's not getting higher moves to clubs like a Bayern Munich, stuff like that, you know. He's getting moves links to someone like Benfica, like Porto, which okay, they do play Champions League football, which is very good for a player at 29 now that he wants to continue in the top tier of football, but I don't know, I think that there are better clubs out there that could get someone like Cillessen. And even now that he's leaving this season and the past before, he's always been a very good servant for our club. Next up, we got Philippe Coutinho. Philippe Coutinho is an interesting one. It's an interesting one because he has been kinda decent in a sense. He hasn't, of course, truck the world and light it up. He hasn't done that for Barcelona. We want that from someone which is our most expensive player ever. That's the thing that I just cannot think about. Coutinho is the player Barcelona has spent most ever, and he hasn't really just been the best. If we can get at least 120 million from Chelsea or PSG for Coutinho, it's an amazing kind of like, not a bargain, but it's good enough. It's good enough, I'll take it. Coutinho, with that being said, I don't know, I'm gonna put him, it's between these two. Is it, have you seen this man? It has to be. It really has to be. Like, it has to be. In some sense, not because of his own right. It isn't his own fault that he's in this ranking. But the reason for it as well is that the way that we played this season really never facilitated Coutinho. We bought Coutinho 2 or 3 years too early. We needed to buy Coutinho or a player like him when Messi was already, 33, already playing less games, already playing like 25 games a season. So the other 20 games, someone like Coutinho could step in his role. Because when we have both Coutinho and Messi in the same side, we see the job stumbling over and over. Coutinho at Liverpool, he was the guy. He had the ball all the time. People were looking for him. Here, everyone's looking for Messi, and he doesn't have the same just room to exercise his skill set. So Coutinho, because of that reason, because of personally kinda his own, and then also because of the club and Valverde, he's gonna be putting in this ranking. Next up, we got Aleñá. And Aleñá is another player which I'm gonna put in almost kind of somewhat like Messi this season, because individually for Aleñá, he hasn't really also been amazing, but he has been getting what he needed to do. At 19, 20 years old now for Barcelona, you want to be playing in the first team, and he has got that. He has been the main player in the latter stages of the season when Arthur was being taken out. Like I said, in the 60th minute, Aleñá was the guy coming in. So in that sense, for me, Aleñá, he has gotten his objective. He probably would have woken up the very first day of the season and be like, Mom, Dad, I want to play more in the first team. And he has done that. So good on Aleñá and Valverde. Next player we got is Ousmane Dembele. And I'm going to be putting him on a not kind of like Messi. But give me a second, I need a break. So, why Dembele? Why Dembele here? Well, I'm going to be putting Dembele because kind of similar to Coutinho in a sense, but not as dreadful. He hasn't been getting the minutes that he also needs to improve and cement his play as a starter in this team. But it's kind of due because of his own attitude, because as we know, the start of the season, he played too much Fortnite, while trying to get that victory royale and not too much concentrating on actual football. So, and then of course we got to take into account the injuries as well. So the injuries plus the Fortnite doesn't really cement Dembele, the player that he needs to be, at the level that he needs to be for Barcelona. I wanted him to stay for 1, 2, 3 more seasons, but it's time for him to act now, and also the club. The club has to do what he needs. He has to get game time. Sorry about that. He has to get game time, and the club has to give it to him. And Dembele then have to continue professional attitude. So for now, it's not Messi. Not Messi, it's good enough, but it's not Messi. So the next player is going to be Clement Lenglet. And I know, guys, I know what I said about Messi, so I'm going to fix it, guys. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to be creating... Can I add a new row? Add a row above. I want to add a row above because I'm going to do the following. It's going to be which color? This kind of color, this color, this one. I'm just going to be call it... I'm going to call it... Give this man a trophy. The reason why I'm adding this ranking just right now is because Lenglet doesn't fit in any of them. He's not Messi, but he also is not almost somewhat kind of like Messi. He's Lenglet, and he has done an outstanding season for him. Having to cover for Samuel Umtiti being injured, and therefore stepping in very crucial games like the one in the Champions League against Manchester United, or Lyon, or El Clásico, Lenglet was always there. And he has formed a very good partnership with Gerard Piqué. Similarly to what I said with Alba, the performances he had in the 2 games that we lost are of course going to be kind of like overshadowing his performances, but overall this guy deserves a trophy. That is why he's in that ranking. Next up, I'm gonna go with Malcolm. And Malcolm, I'm gonna go with almost kind of someone like Messi. The reason why he's here and not Dembele, for instance, in this ranking, is that Dembele needed to play and we expected a lot more of him. Malcolm, we didn't expect that much. I expected him to play the amount of minutes that he did because I didn't think Valverde were gonna give it to him. The thing with this is that whenever he has stepped on the field, he has delivered. The only time I remember that I said that Malcolm had a dreadful game was against Cultural Leonesa when it was Malcolm and Dembele as strikers. And that is very harsh on the guy and similarly very harsh to Dembele. But overall Dembele, he's just like 2 levels up above Malcolm. Not in skill set right now, you can debate that. But I mean in kind of like expectations, in what we want from them and Barcelona. So Malcolm, for the expectation that he has certainly delivered. Moving on, we got Jason Murillo, and this one is easy. Sorry Colombia, lo siento mucho, pero te vas al fondo. Why? Because he's just the same as Boateng. Have you seen this man? No, I haven't. So I don't really think I need to argue. Next up, we got Piqué, and Piqué is gonna go and give this man a trophy. The reason for it, similar to Lenglet, outstanding season. He had a very shaky start to it, but then recovered fast, and he was with Ter Stegen and Lenglet a lot of the main reasons why we've managed to get points in La Liga. There were so many games that we could have lost if it wasn't for a good Piqué clearance, and he has also scored amazing goals as well. The one against Lyon, there was one against, was it Deportivo Alavés or Espanyol? There was one of them. And so yeah, overall for me, Piqué had a very good season, and it's kind of like a little bit underwhelming because at now 31 years old, we are starting to really see the recognition of Piqué, not from Barcelona fans, but from overall European media. A lot of them are being like, oh my god, Piqué, he's insane, he's insane, he's insane. With Van Dijk, the 2 best center back this season. And I don't think in the longest of time, Piqué has never been in the conversation for the best, like the best of the best center back in the world. He should have been, but he wasn't, because he was just overshadowed by someone like Ramos, which just scored a lot of headers. Oh, next up we got Ivan Rakitic, and with Rakitic, Rakitic, he has been good, okay? He's not Messi, but I'm gonna put him a meh. And the reason for it is that personality-wise and all of that, he has really decreased. I like the guy because he's a family man, he's a guy with good values, but Valverde just keep putting in games, when overall sometimes he just couldn't deliver. In the games that he actually did, like in a Clásico for instance, he was insane, and I applaud that. But then overall, some games, he was kind of very similar to Coutinho and Malcolm, being mistreated by the overuse, in this case, of him. I bet people wouldn't hate Rakitic as much if Valverde would have played him a little bit more, reduce his minutes, you know? People, I still like Rakitic, but he's just been overused when we didn't need that. And then now he's feeling like he's on top of the world, he's the best player ever, and he is not giving us those performances. So that is why I'm putting him in meh. And that is because Rakitic is putting that expectations on him. If he want to be out there with the best players that we have in our team, the best players in the world, my expectations are going to be high, and I believe that you haven't met those expectations in all of the games. Next up, we got Rafinha. And Rafinha is going to be not Messi because he just really didn't have enough of a season. He kind of was just playing until he got injured, and then a very fatal injury came his way. So I'm going to put him in that slot. Sergio Roberto, very similarly, I could actually put him in a meh. You know, I'm going to put him in a meh. I think Sergio Roberto hasn't done good enough by him. And then certainly defensively, attacking wise, he has been lacking a lot. So Sergio Roberto is going to go meh. I believe that in so many games, Semedo could have been much better used. And Valverde just decided to stick with Roberto when he didn't need to be there. 7MTT, I'm going to put him meh. This is different to Rafinha because he actually, I believe, got injured earlier in the season, and when he came back, he didn't play at all. I want to be is this Semedo? No, this is not Umtiti. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. This is Semedo. Boom, Semedo. If it's Semedo, right here. I think Semedo had an outstanding season. I really do. I think that he proved that he can be a right back, taking the chances when Roberto couldn't play there, you know. And Valverde just kept putting him in. Roberto, Sergi, Roberto. When he didn't need to play. Semedo should have played a lot more games. Whenever he played, he delivered. He was outstanding. And a lot of us have continuously been growing towards the player. I said at the start of the season how I perhaps like Sergio Roberto a little bit more as a player overall. But I didn't shy away from saying that he didn't need to play. There were some times where Roberto just wasn't good enough. And Semedo took his position. Luis Suarez is a very interesting one. Luis Suarez, I believe, is here in the middle as well, not Messi. He's not Messi, he's not someone like kind of like Messi. He scored a lot of goals, yes, still the second I think with most goals in La Liga behind, well, Messi. And yeah, he's been good, but the thing that really puts for me Luis Suarez in this position is when I went to watch Manchester United at the Camp Nou, and I just saw the guy staying all the time offside, staying all the time just shouting and wasting his energy in fighting, in arguing with the referees. And he's trying to improve that. I generally think he's doing that, but some things you cannot change. And Suarez is going to be an animal when it comes to that. And he hasn't really behaved his well the best. And of course the thing with the knee and all of that, for me, it's just in the middle. He hasn't done an outstanding season. And it's kind of like being the downhill. Before he was up here. Then he fell down the next season, and then the next season, and now he's finding himself here. I feel that Suarez, the next season, might fall even further, and that's why we need to get a number 9 in through the door. The next player is Ter Stegen, and Ter Stegen goes in Give This Man a Trophy. You know what? I'm going to put Ter Stegen up here even. I think that single-handedly, Messi and Ter Stegen have saved this club from winning La Liga. That's how much confidence I have put in those two. I'm going to put Ter Stegen at Messi level at this current. I think he's the best goalkeeper in the world, and not by slightly. I think there's like a big margin, like 2 points, I would say, in kind of like rating between him and the next one, which could be someone like Alisson. I'm just going to put Ter Stegen up there. I think he's a really good goalkeeper, and the saves that he made time and time again, every single game, is really the sole reason why we are up here. Of course, he had dreadful performances similar to when Liverpool and Valencia came our way, but everybody did. So, no, Valencia, he didn't even play Valencia, what am I saying? So, yeah, Messi, you know what, at that level, Ter Stegen is there. Next up, we got Jean-Claire Todibo. I'm going to put in Jean-Claire Todibo here. I think Jean-Claire Todibo had a good season, even though we get him 6 months in. The thing here, what I'm saying is kind of like with Aleñá, his objectives were a little bit lower than most people. He just wanted to get some minutes, and he did. For most of us, I said it on the channel time and time again, that Todibo could have been a player to loan out and not even get a single minute with the first team. And he had that minutes. He had the minutes in La Copa Rey, in the Supercopa of Catalunya. No, Copa Rey, no. He had it in the last games like Huesca, like Deportivo Alavés. So overall in that, I think he was good enough. So good on Todibo. Next up, we got some Umtiti, and I was starting already confusing with Semedo. And for me, Umtiti is gonna go here in Meh. I was saying it already. He just was injured. He didn't do much. But in difference, in contrast to Rafinha, whenever he played, he was just that good. So I'm gonna put Umtiti. I still think he's better than Lenglet, but his season wasn't. Next up, Vermeulen. I'm going to be putting him, have you seen this man? Always injured. That's it. That's that. And then Arturo Vidal, I'm going to give this man a trophy. I think that everyone has fallen in love with Arturo Vidal. At the start of the season, of course, he wasn't playing much, but whenever he came in, he gave attitude, he gave pressing, he just kind of like positively infected our players with energy and just passion. And that's something that Arturo Vidal is just the best at. And he was so wrongly substituted in the game against Liverpool. I do not understand why. So good on Arturo Vidal. He needs to stay. We should extend his contract just 1 more year, or leave it as it is, you know, but still keep him. Don't sell him right now. Let him run his contract at Barcelona. So overall, guys, hopefully you have enjoyed. That's gonna be my tier list. Leave me yours in the comment box down below if you can. Link them in the comment box, and I'll see them personally if you can. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Ciao.